the king who thought he was God. In the ancient kingdom of Ashtar, there ruled a mighty king named Zareth, feared by his enemies and worshipped by his people. Zareth believed there was no power greater than his own. His word was law. His command was final, and his ego knew no bounds. One evening, as he stood on the grand balcony of his golden palace, he looked over his vast empire and declared, "I am the ruler of all. There is no power greater than me. Even the gods bow to my will." The people, afraid of his wrath, cheered and chanted his name. But in the heavens, the true King of Kings watched. That night, Zareth had a dream. A radiant figure, clothed in light, appeared before him. His eyes burned like fire, and his voice shook the foundations of the earth. "Zareth, you believe you are the greatest, but your throne is dust before me. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Will you humble yourself before me, or will you be brought low?" Zareth awoke in a cold sweat, but his pride was stronger than his fear. He dismissed the dream and continued his rule, growing even more arrogant. One day, as he walked through his grand hall, he saw an old man kneeling in prayer. "Who do you pray to?" Zareth demanded. The old man lifted his head and said, "I pray to Jesus Christ, the King above all kings." Zareth laughed mockingly. "There is no king greater than me." The old man looked at him with sorrowful eyes. "Oh, King Zareth, you are powerful among men, but without God, you are nothing. You rule an earthly kingdom, but Jesus rules eternity. Do not harden your heart." Zareth scoffed and ordered the man thrown into prison. But that very night, a mighty storm arose. Thunder roared and lightning struck the palace. A deep voice echoed through the chambers, the same voice from Zareth's dream. "You were warned. Now, you will see that I alone hold all power." In an instant, Zareth was struck blind. His strength failed him, and he collapsed to the ground. For 7 days he lay in darkness, unable to see, eat, or drink. His heart, once filled with pride, was now filled with fear and regret. On the 7th day, the same radiant figure appeared again. "Do you now know who I am?" Zareth fell to his knees. "You alone are God. Forgive me, for I was blind in my pride." "Yes, Lord. Now, I see that all power belongs to you." At that moment, King Zareth's sight was restored. But more than that, his heart was changed. He rose from the ground a new man. He summoned his people and declared, "I was a fool to believe I was the greatest. There is only one true King, Jesus Christ. From this day forward, our kingdom will serve him alone." And so, the great king who once thought he had all power humbled himself before the one who holds all things in his hands. His story became a testimony for generations, a warning that pride leads to downfall, but those who humble themselves before the Lord will be lifted up. For God resists the proud but gives grace to the humble. James 4-6.